Hello. Today, I want to talk about putting someone on the spot. Specifically, one subtle way you might be doing this without even realizing, and a helpful tip to prevent that going forward. Now, when I say putting someone on the spot, I mean prompting someone to answer a difficult question or make a difficult decision or admission without any warning or preparation time. If you've ever been put on the spot this way, and I feel like most people have at some point in their life, then you know that it's absolutely no fun. One time, someone asked me if I had invited someone else to something right in front of them, and I hadn't invited them. So it just became an awkward moment for everyone. It was awkward for the person I didn't invite. It was awkward for the person who asked, and it was awkward for me. I did not handle it smoothly. Like, at all. Now, luckily, this doesn't happen to me very often. I don't think I've been awkwardly put on the spot like that for quite a while. I feel like most people are generally pretty socially aware about not publicly asking questions that might be awkward or uncomfortable to answer. I think most people recognize that this would be a bad position to put someone in, so they know not to do it. But lately, I've noticed a slightly different way of being put on the spot. One that's a lot more subtle and easy to overlook. One that's therefore much easier to accidentally and unintentionally do to someone else. You yourself may have put someone on the spot like this without even realizing. I know I certainly have. So, what is it? Well, it's when you create the expectation of a certain outcome for someone else to have to deliver on. For example, at work one time, I got looped into an email thread that said, "Oh, Graham set this up for me last month. He'll be able to do this for you too." And it was more complicated than that. I was able to do it for the first person last month, but that was kind of an exception. Something that we wouldn't be able to do for everyone, including the person who was now asking for it. So now I was kind of in an awkward situation. The second person expected me to do it for them because the first person said I could, but for reasons that the first person didn't know about, I actually couldn't. That ended up leading to an uncomfortable and disappointing conversation for the second person. And yeah, I was kind of put on the spot in that situation. No, I wasn't forced to answer a difficult question in public without any warning, but instead, someone now had expectations for an outcome that I wouldn't be able to deliver on. I had to tell them that I couldn't do what they expected me to do. And it felt the exact same way. Awkward, uncomfortable, and embarrassing. Being put on the spot feels like being thrown under the bus. Or actually, in front of the bus. There's still a chance that you can get yourself out of it and avoid being run over, but you're still being put into a bad situation overall. And look, I know I've done this before too. If someone asks me a question and I'm not the right person to answer it, but I know who is, it's easy to say, "Oh, this person will help you with that." Or, "Oh, they'll be able to do that for you," especially if you know they've delivered positive outcomes before. But just because they've delivered positive outcomes before doesn't guarantee that they'll be able to do that for everyone in the future. Maybe they can't help them with that or do it for them anymore. Maybe those previous outcomes were exceptions, like they were in my case. So how do you avoid putting someone on the spot like this? How do you avoid creating expectations of certain outcomes for someone else to meet? Well, for me at least, I'm a lot more careful in how I word things, especially when I'm redirecting someone to someone else. I don't explicitly say that they'll be able to do it for them. I more so tend to indicate that they can review and decide for themselves. For example, rather than saying they'll be able to do this for you, I might instead say they'll be able to review this for you and then confirm what the next step is. That way, I'm not creating the expectation of a certain outcome, an outcome that I myself am not responsible for delivering. Now, I know this all sounds work specific, so here's a different situation where this applies. A few years ago, I was in New Zealand and we had just checked into an Airbnb. We had been on the road for a few days and really needed to do laundry. The suite we stayed in didn't have a washing machine and laundry wasn't advertised, but I messaged the host and asked her if there was any way we could use her washer and dryer, and she didn't let us use it. Instead, she did all of her laundry herself and folded everything before returning it back to us. And that was very kind of her, and we were extremely appreciative. And we also felt bad that someone else washed and folded our dirty clothes. Anyway, when it was time to leave the public review, I debated mentioning that she had very kindly done and folded our laundry. She had been an amazing host, and I wanted everyone to know about it. But then I thought, maybe she wouldn't want everyone to know that she had done our laundry. Maybe we were the exception. And if I put in my public review that she had done our laundry, then maybe she'd be stuck having uncomfortable conversations with other Airbnb guests. Guests requesting laundry because they saw it in my comment. So I decided not to. So as not to create the expectation that she'd be willing to do laundry for everyone. Instead, in the public review, I said she was extremely accommodating and a wonderful host. And then in the private review, I thanked her for doing her laundry once again. At the end of the day, it's not fun being put on the spot, but it's also not fun being the one who puts someone else on the spot. And while one way to do this is obvious and easy to avoid, the other is subtle and easy to overlook. And if you take anything away from this video, remember that you can pass things off to people. You can praise people. Just don't create the expectation of a certain outcome for someone else to have to deliver on. Anyway, that's it for today. If this resonated with you or you found this insightful, your thumbs up is very much appreciated. You may also enjoy this video, which talks about why you should go out of your way to not make someone look bad. Consider subscribing for more videos like this. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.